Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. St. Lucia shores up diplomatic relations with Venezuela with a state visit. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Wednesday, 11th October 2023. Brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. Details when we return.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. A high-level delegation led by Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre paid a visit to Venezuela as the two nations, St. Lucia and Venezuela, engaged in talks to solidify their diplomatic ties. Cabinet Ministers Stephenson King and Alva Batiste accompanied the Prime Minister on this visit. Zane Romulus of the DBS News World reports.
A one-day state visit to Venezuela served as the first bilateral meeting between the Bolivarian Republic and St. Lucia since the Philip Pierre administration re-established ties in 2021. According to the Prime Minister, the meeting served to solidify and enhance relations, which was strained under the former Alan Shastney administration.
There was an ambassador designate to Venezuela, and the former administration refused to accept her credentials, which caused a lot of shame in the international world. An ambassador in St. Lucia, and the government refuses to accept her credentials. That is unheard of, and the Minister of External Affairs will tell you what mark that did on the country. So we re-established these relations, and the ambassador was accepted.
Talks between the Nicolas Maduro-led government and the St. Lucian delegation were productive, says Infrastructure Minister Stephenson King. A lot of ground was covered in the one day with discussions on various areas of cooperation, including in agriculture, housing, infrastructure, and energy.
We have made an appeal for consideration of bitumen. Bitumen is an element used in the production of asphalt. And they have gone even further, not only to commit themselves to the provision of bitumen for the production of asphalt, but also to provide, if necessary, granular material for that purpose, which would mean that if we're able to receive this benefit from the Venezuelans, then it means road construction will see some level of depreciation in terms of cost. The cost of road construction will be decreased.
A memorandum of understanding was also signed between the two governments following the discussions.
We also signed a clear roadmap to how we can actually deal with the air services agreement that will facilitate the Venezuelan carrier to operate in our jurisdiction. It will create an improved framework for both tourism and trade between Venezuela and St. Lucia. As a matter of fact, many years ago we had Rentavion, taking speculators from St. Lucia across to Margarita and back. So this is nothing new. I think we are going to start a new engagement for trade and cooperating on a fundamentally different level.
The tangible fruits of these talks can be expected to be seen very soon, with a shipment of fertilizer expected here by early November. For the DBS News World, I am Zane Romulus.
Guyana's leading endocrinologist, Dr. Jacqueline Ricardo, shared that 50% of infertility cases in Guyana are attributed to men. For more insights into this issue, HGP's Carice Gonzalez reports.
Infertility is a complex issue for couples in Guyana, according to endocrinologist Dr. Jacqueline Ricardo. During an interview with Nightly News, Dr. Ricardo revealed that 50% of the infertility cases in Guyana are attributed to men.
Half of the infertility is due to male problem. 40% is female, and the other 20 is both.
Dr. Ricardo further noted that most of the men with infertility issues present with varicocele and enlargement of the veins within the loose bag of skin that holds the testicles. This is usually formed during puberty and may cause poor development of testicles and other problems.
So you can have a good spermatozoid sperm count, but it's a good production, but when they go to the way, the varicose vein is like dilatation of the vein in the way, they start to keep long time there and they die.
The doctor also pointed out that stress, marijuana use, and wearing tight underwear lower sperm count in men, contributing to infertility.
Here is important. So they put 2, and the next the palm. So the testes have hot temperature, and they cannot work properly. So the spermatozoid, they don't have the proper weight. We can go to acquired disease, like, for example, marijuana, which is linked to decrease the smoke, the alcohol. All 3 are linked to the decrease of this. Other disease, like, for example, thyroid disease, they can affect male and female.
Meanwhile, Dr. Ricardo clarified that in Guyana, polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS, is the most prevalent cause of female infertility, typically treated by both an endocrinologist and a gynecologist. On the other hand, males receive diagnosis from a urologist followed by consultation with an endocrinologist. Curious Gonzalez for the HGP Nightly News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick, in association with our friends at
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
The National Integrity Action, NIA, in Jamaica is intensifying its efforts to address what it characterizes as inadequate parliamentary oversight. Celine Campbell of CVM Live has more.
Governance is not the purview of any political party. Governance is a purview of the people.
And on that note, the National Integrity Action launched its Zancas project. The project, intended to strengthen accountability of institutions designed for democratic governance, is believed to have come at an appropriate time. According to founding director of the National Integrity Action, Professor Trevor Monroe, findings revealed by the NIA suggest a significantly debilitated and weak parliamentary oversight as a result of the fusion between the executive and legislative arms of government. He adds the findings relate to 4 particular deficiencies.
Firstly, the tabling and answering of parliamentary questions. In the parliamentary year 2021-2022, MPs tabled 21 questions. Of these, 12 were answered within the time frame required by the standing orders. Secondly, the tabling and debate of private members' motions. In the parliamentary year 2021-22, 4 such were tabled in the Senate and debated.
The other 2 deficits he notes are the tabling and debating of private members' bills, adding the bills were tabled but not debated. And finally, the absence of a code of conduct for parliamentarians, which holds great importance to the Integrity Action Commission. Professor Monroe says this code of conduct was promised in Jamaica's National Development Plan, Vision 2030, back in 2009.
The code of conduct, ostensibly completed by the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs. In fact, the minister indicated this in her sectoral debate, that this code has been completed and has been referred to Cabinet, but it has not been placed before this committee.
Monroe points out this conduct would outline the desired behaviors of parliamentarians and provide a means of imposing sanctions for deviant conduct. He adds Parliament is the only branch of government without one. Concluding his assessment, Professor Monroe notes parliamentary oversight requires stronger acknowledgement and operation of the separation of powers. Celine Campbell for CVM News.
Since taking office after the 2022 general elections, St. Kitts and Nevis's Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew under whose portfolio is the Citizenship by Investment Program, the CBI, several pieces of legislation have been passed to protect the integrity of the program. Glenn Bart of SKN Newsline brings us up to speed.
According to Dr. Drew, the CBI program continues to undergo other changes to ensure efficiency, sustainability, security, all within the context of the good governance agenda of the administration. According to the Prime Minister, all aspects of the CBI program must operate with transparency and accountability. The Prime Minister was asked if, within the context of the new legislation and the good governance agenda, if an ongoing relationship with CS Global Partners would continue.
We got there and certain, I would say, contracts were in place, legally bound, of course, right? We made the changes in the regulations. We set up the CBI board, and we are reviewing everything. We have only been there 13 months, roughly, right? And 14 months. And you said since 2013 to now is what, a decade? We have only been there about 1/10 of the time. And so therefore, we are bringing everything under the good governance. Everything did not happen overnight, and so we are rolling it out. So wherever we find, as we do our plans and checks where there are issues, we are going to deal with them. And we are willing to deal with them because, you know, and you have been in the CBI space, that people rose up and started to criticize a lot of the changes that we were making, or the changes that we are making. And we are deciding that we are legally the spaces, and we'll seek for the legal space to do what we have to do. These are things that we would have met in place. And so we have to deal with them accordingly. So anything that does not come under where we consider to be an issue of promoting the program, helping the program, and so forth, because at the same time that somebody might mention the cost, again, you have to ask if you're getting your bang for your buck, correct? Let's say these are Koi Hotel, and it costs Koi $1 million to market Koi, and somebody else offer you $10,000. But let's say Koi $1 million is making sure that Koi is making 20. I might say, well, I'm getting my bang for my buck based on the ratio of what I'm getting and what I have to spend to maintain where I'm at. So questions like that, right? I'm just saying in the general sense. But we are applying the good governance regulations to every sector, the CBI, and all the other ministries to come into compliance. And we have started the process. It is a difficult process because, of course, we had to uproot many things, but we're making sure that legally we are protected as well.
Even with the stricter rules and regulations resulting from the new legislation, the St. Kitts and Nevis CBI program is ranked highly, the Prime Minister said.
I would say that our program is recognized as number one, even with the tough changes that we have. And those, because we think that you can have tough laws, responsible laws, be a program that engenders the confidence of your partners, and at the same time, be a financially stable program of, I will say, a finance-generating program. The two can go hand in hand, and we are proving it.
CS Global is a London-based advisory and marketing firm that specializes in residency and citizenship by investment solutions. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
Trinidad's National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines says the introduction of 4 container scanners in the new fiscal year will significantly bolster the Customs and Excise Division.
Speaking during the budget debate, Minister Hines said the equipment and technology being procured will enhance the capacity of the Customs and Excise Division to ensure illegal items are detected.
Told by the Customs Division that with that and what we already have, the fixed scanners we already have, we have the capacity to search every container if we wanted to, leaving our ports. We don't do it, but we could. We have the capacity to do it. And the 16 handheld scanners also to be acquired in 2024, as announced by the Minister of Finance, will take us a long way, Madam Speaker, in improving our port security.
Meanwhile, the minister said the police service continues to do its best to remove illegal guns off the streets.
96 revolvers recovered so far for the year, 298 pistols, 35 shotguns, 11 submachine guns, 62 rifles using 5.56 or 7.62, 18 homemade shotguns, Altogether, 521 firearms recovered by the police so far for the year. I would like to see that figure quadrupled, quintupled.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.